and up until that point, you just imagine how it will be, and obviously with technology and with the software, you create a mock-up that is coming quite close to what you like it or what you want it to sound like. But obviously, when it's being played by real musicians, this is unbeatable. This is just this is the real thing. Yeah.
Hello, Raphael.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's so great to meet you here on Zoom.
Yeah, same.
Raphael, your music is so beautiful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Really, the first time I listened, it was really cinematic. You really transported me. It was really like being in some film and just waiting for my imagination to go.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's.
What is it about the cinema music? As a child, were you into film and where did this start?
Well, first of all, I started playing the piano when I was like 6, and that was kind of my first connection to music. And films was something, not necessarily film music at the beginning, but just films and the storytelling that I was very interested in growing up and as a teenager and so on. And then what really touched me was watching Cinema Paradiso, the film, and with the score by Ennio Morricone. That was something that, like the first time where I felt like I really connect to film music and to the effect that music has in films and what music can actually do in like any visual media. And that was just a wonderful experience, like almost transcending experience, I'd like to say, that kind of got me thinking and analyzing film music more, and brought me more into like the direction of, well, maybe I should pursue a career in this, and maybe that's something for me. So I tried things out, and yeah, now I'm where I am, and I'm
amazing. But you said you played the piano first, so as a child, did you start to experiment with composing and making up your own?
not as a child, a bit later, like in my teenage years. I started playing around with very basic things, and it's those are I still have those notes.
Really?
Really wouldn't show that to anyone. It's like very very early tryouts, and it was just, to back then I wasn't really sure about where I would like to go with this. It was just, trying things out. And it was more in connection with film that I got just more into composing or like more in depth and analyzed certain pieces. And during my study or studies afterwards, after my A levels. And so I was like 18, 19, or probably like around 19, where I really was like, maybe I, take this more seriously and try to get better at things and not just, try. Yeah.
But were you very much aware then when you watched the film, the music, that, after you realized the power of the music, was this something that you consciously heard?
Yes. Yes. And I would say more importantly, that resonated with me also independently from the film. So when I listened to the soundtrack, I was like transported either back into, the film story, or it would create, other images in my head. And I would, that what you mentioned at the beginning of the call, that cinematic approach, that makes you feel something and imagine something. So that's also something that I value a lot in film music. That storytelling aspect that makes it work independently from the film. If it's film music, it's all about storytelling, and obviously not in every film music has such an important role that it's able to work independently from the film, but it always creates something. So, and if the film and the story of the film allows the music to play a big role and to tell more of the story on an emotional level, so that it really works independently from the film, that's something where I feel home, actually.
Okay.
It's like the best case scenario.
When you then decided to study, was this then you knew that was the route you wanted to go?
Not at the beginning. First it was just to get a sense of that field and of the industry, and maybe more about what to expect. And I studied media composition at first, which I got a good impression, but it didn't really push me into pursuing a career in this. It made me want to create a safety net. So I
see.
study math and thought maybe this is a good idea to have, kind of a safe ground to start off. And yeah, but that was more in that time I realized that I didn't really have much time for music anymore when I have another focus point. So that actually pushed me into pursuing a career in music, or film music especially, because I realized like how important this is to me. And if I don't have the time to like write music and then there is no point in, pursuing like real and math.
But that's so interesting that you're saying that, because that safety net sometimes is a hindrance, like you say, it stops you then from pushing yourself and doing what you're supposed to do.
Right. It's but it was important it was an important lesson to learn, and I'm very grateful in retrospect of also that part of my life, it got me where I am now. So
yeah, it's those transferable skills.
yes, that's correct.
Yeah. So where did you study composing?
So a lot when I started out, a lot was learning by doing, and analyzing scores and compositions, like from Baroque to classic, romantic periods, and then I eventually decided to take courses at Berkeley online, because I felt like this was very specific. There were courses in film composition, in orchestration, and there were very specific fields where I wanted to improve and where I wanted to dig deeper. And so I did a certificate program there with like film composition and orchestration and like music licensing was another like more business oriented, but that was very, very helpful and important also for my career, because also the people that I met there, we're still in touch. We're still having like chats every few months. Used to be a monthly thing, but everyone is like busy and we're quite a few. So for everyone to be able to get together, it's not that easy, but it's just a great thing to be like globally connected with others and that share the same passion for the work that we're all doing. And yeah.
But amazing that you sort of started out being self-taught then. You investigate. I love that. I always love these stories that, where people just got on with it. And I'm not saying that education it's like you say, there's many factors, but also that you have to have a certain drive to start doing it and, working out and figuring it out. And I think sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but there's something you learn in the process.
Yes, I agree 100%. It's I feel like it's always a bit different when you learn on your own and you make mistakes, and then you eventually learn from those mistakes, and that's the progress that you make. And with studying, it's a bit different. For me, it was great to have like an instructor to be able to talk to ask questions, to have a structure in my learning, which is obviously more difficult, and you need more discipline if you do it on your own to create that structure to be able to make progress. But I think I would say the best thing there was the community that kind of was, everyone was pushing everyone else forward, and that was just amazing about these courses, and because everyone had like different strengths, and you could benefit like from each other, and that was just such a wonderful thing to happen. And since I'm quite globally oriented in my work and globally connected with others, that was just beautiful to have this opportunity. Yeah.
Also, because you've already studied yourself, or you've already sort of worked on it yourself, so you knew what the questions were, you knew what the things were that you needed to learn, additionally. So that must have been also been helpful and also an advantage, because you went in already knowing what you want to learn.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. And that was, I would say, immensely helpful in that, because it's just more efficient. You're not starting at like zero, because you know what you want and you know where to go. Yeah.
And you also and also the connections, like you say, you building up connections. So also this makes the world, opens up the world for you. So now you can, and because of with this digital age we're living in, it's easier to connect, isn't it?
Yes. That obviously is a huge factor, which makes life a lot easier, and especially like managing different time zones, and it's just it became very convenient to be able to rely on that technical aspect of things, and to be able to meet people, connect with people, also become friends with people that you haven't seen in person, and but you're friends through like the internet, through video calls, and that's I think that's a pretty amazing thing in today's world.
Absolutely.
To be able, so there's no limit, actually. I would say, like, at least not for me, because you can connect with everyone, and that's also for you. This must be
amazing, yeah. But yeah, no, it is amazing, and to connect with people and to connect people. So I'm focusing a lot on Africa, on the arts in Africa, artists in Africa, and you think some of these young artists, it's for them a lovely way to just let somebody else see or know about them. It's on Saturday I spoke with somebody in Ghana, and you think, yeah, now hopefully somebody will see his work or hear his story. That's great.
Right. Yeah.
But I want to also, what I saw on your Instagram page is that you still do handwritten scripts. I love that.
Yes, from time to time it helps me just in the process of composing, if I have the time to kind of isolate myself from the digital world, and just paper and pen, sitting on the piano, and whatever comes to my mind, just sketch it out. And that's
well, I actually, when I saw it, because usually composers talk about, they use software to compose, but I spoke actually to one composer who said that he also used to do that, before technology. But what he loved was then the first time he heard the music, like when an orchestra played it, of course, he heard it from the piano, but when he handed it over to the orchestra and the orchestra played it, that was always for him such a wonderful experience, So do you find that as well?
100%, yes.
Really?
That's always, I would say, like the most exciting part of the work, if there is enough budgets to get music recorded. And especially, like, for me, I do my own orchestrations, and then all the love and you put into that, and also all the sweat, like making sure everything is all right and working fine, and therefore it's always great to have someone else proofread the music, and then being in the session, which is sometimes quite stressful because time is short, and but hearing those notes come to life, played by great musicians, and this is always something that gives me goosebumps. And up until that point, you just imagine how it will be, and obviously with technology and with the software, you create a mock-up that is coming quite close to what you like it, or what you want it to sound like. But obviously, when it's being played by real musicians, this is unbeatable. This is just this is the real thing. Yeah.
I think I can just imagine how that feels, because it's also that energy that you have from the musicians who enjoy playing the work.
Yeah. Yeah, this is something, I've been fortunate enough because I write concert music as well, not that much, but I'm trying to explore more in that field as well. And I've had one suite being performed by, it was a youth orchestra. It was not a professional orchestra, but this was totally different from scoring sessions that you do with, like, or for films, when there is a certain amount of time, and those are session players. They are incredibly good at sight reading, and you put the sheet music there and they just play it, and this is amazing. But then on the other hand, having a youth orchestra trying to work out all the parts so that it sounds as best as they actually can, was a different experience, which was also quite interesting and fulfilling for me as well, because it's a different way of playing music, performing music, because you have time to explore things and to refine things, and this is yeah.
And do you find it easy to explain to them what it is that you want?
I mean, in scoring sessions, I hope that I'm being precise, and I'm still learning with every session I have, because it's very important to be precise in your like in your notes. But I wouldn't say that I find it easy at this stage in my career, because my experience is like rather limited compared to someone who's in the industry for 30 years and having lots of sessions per year. And so therefore, every session is a learning experience for me, and I get better and I get more confident also in the things that I want and how to explain it. Yeah, but usually this is as a composer, you know what you want, so it's really just way of, like you said, like how do I explain this in a good and short but understandable way.
But I see you also work with animators.
You mean like animated films and
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, when I started out, I worked on a lot of animation projects, which were quite fun and opened some doors for me as well. In the past, not really that much, but I love animation, and I always, when there's an opportunity, I would always go for it, because it's just it's a different type of scoring and more nuanced on movements and all that kind of stuff that you focus on more depending on the animation style. But there is it can be quite refreshing every once in a while
to do it. But when you compose for film, do you, when you hear the story, do you already have a sense of what you want to do, or what the sound is you want to create? Or do you really have to depend on the director?
This always varies. I mean, some directors have a clear vision of what they want, and then that's the direction we go. That's because it's not my film, so I'm being hired to work for someone else. So I need to make sure that person approves my work and is happy with my work. But if I get the creative freedom, which fortunately for me has happened quite a lot, that the director is open and producers are open to my ideas, then it's always a different process. Sometimes I watch the film. If I know I'm entirely free to come up with ideas, then I watch the film, and sometimes I'm being inspired and sit on the piano and have lots of ideas right away. Sometimes it feels more like work.
So, is it?
Trying to work out themes and trying to also make them work in the over the course of the film. And the tonality is something that is often, for me, at least for me, is not happening right away. So because when writing music in general, I'm quite melody oriented. So I come up with melodies first, and then the next step is if this is approved, and we say, well, this is, for example, a theme for character A. Next step for me is to orchestrate that and to think about what to do with the material in terms of its tonality and how the sound or colors like work best in a film, and what's kind of my color palette, so to speak, like painting a canvas or so. And this is a process that sometimes take longer, sometimes is happening quite quickly. Also, always depending on the timeline of the film. But it's an interesting process because you feel like you're digging deeper, or you're diving in deeper into the story, and it's always, for me at least, it's always better to have some time for that, to be able to really, get into it and make sure everything, at the end of the day, everything is going to work together, like smoothly. Yeah.
And do you sometimes get stuck?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Is like I feel like this is part of the work as a creative, like no matter in which part of the creative world you're working in, but I feel like the most important thing is to know how to deal with it, at least for me. Like to be able, even if I'm not really inspired and kind of stuck, to still be able to work and to write music that works with the film, because you have you just, when you know the craft, you always be able to come up with something that works. It might not necessarily be always the best of the best, but at least you're able to come up with something, and that might trigger, additional ideas or new inspiration, or even sometimes just get out. For me, just stop composing, just get out and go for a walk, and just being surrounded by a new acoustic world, like in nature, with all the birds, winds, like water flowing, all the sounds that appear in nature are quite refreshing, at least for me. Yeah.
Interesting that you say that, because I spoke to a composer a while ago from Ireland, and he gets inspired by rain.
Really?
Yeah, and because it's raining a lot in Ireland, and a lot of his music, is inspired by rain. So
that's amazing. I mean, yeah, since it's raining a lot, so you must fire like crazy.
Yeah, he uses what he has. But yeah, it's that stepping away, isn't it? Sometimes just stepping away and coming back is, like you say, in many things, it's helpful.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's just one thing of you, at least that's my personal opinion. I think you can't maintain focus for an endless amount of time. There comes the point where you have to, get out and just lose the focus a little, and or focus on something else, and then come back, and then you be able to,
But do you do independent work as well? Do you write music, just composing for yourself?
Rarely. That's something I used to do more often. Fortunately, I got more projects, so I have less time to write for myself. So, which is at the end of the day a good thing. But still, I'm trying to maintain, like to a certain degree, maintain that as part of my life, to also do some, even if it's just small side projects, but just for myself. And that's more like this is less than or less of a job than being hired to write music for film, obviously. So I try to collaborate more with musicians, and just write music together, or have my music arranged by someone else, by a musician, and then work together in that way, so that we are kind of combining both our strengths, and that's always a nice process, and that's something, yeah. As time allows, this the progress is not that fast, but it doesn't have to be, because it's just, something, there's no rush in these things. Yeah.
Do you look at your work, your past work sometimes, and realize, something about your progress or your journey, or is there something you want to change?
Yeah, I do look at like previous work. I wouldn't say regularly, but every now and then. It's hard to, sometimes it's hard to listen to it, because I feel like, wow, this has been like 3 years ago or so, and this, I wouldn't ever do that again nowadays, or I would change this and that, and I personally think it's a good thing, because I notice the progress that I'm making, and I still think every piece that I wrote even years ago has had its place back then, and it was okay for the time that I composed it. And but therefore it's a good thing if you realize that you would make things different today, because you realize how much progress you have made since then. And it's okay. It's always just a piece of music from that particular time. So I don't think that, I mean, maybe it will change, but I don't think that for me this will ever change. That I look back on something and feel like, yeah, this is okay just for the time that I wrote it. But yeah.
I remember always a singer-songwriter from South Africa said that he looks back on his work and it's almost like a journal. Like,
that's a way of putting it.
Yeah. Mm.
That's so true. I like that. I have to
Yeah.
memorize that. Yeah.
I thought, wow, yeah, amazing, because I do this with photography as well. I look back and I can also see my progress, but I also appreciate that time, how I did it or how I thought about doing it. And then, so it's good to know that it can be like a journal process.
Yes, yeah. And like what you just said was quite important as well. Like appreciating that and not being too harsh on yourself, or
Yeah.
like just value the work that you did. And it was you did your best
Exactly.
whenever, and it was for that time you were thinking you were doing great maybe. And then
No, but
and
I
you're a bad
sometimes
thing.
think, yeah, but I think when we start out doing something, we are always hard on ourselves, because we haven't yet discovered really the thing, we or the, like musicians say, they find their sound, or they find their place, sort of. And I think it's that time where you go through that, or you go on that road of finding, but what is it that you want to say or to do, or how you want to do it. And I think that's what I see in my photography. I can see how hard I tried to prove myself to myself, almost.
Right, yeah. That's a very good point as well, yeah. Especially because I think um it makes life so much easier when you're not too hard on yourself, or when you feel like you're it's like a proper personal balance. I feel when you're just appreciating what you did, and it was just part of the path that you're going in your career. And it's like with every work, with every photography work or a piece of music, this is just one stone of the way, and you just
Exactly.
yeah, it's as long as you're moving in the right direction, it's all good.
Yeah. But I wonder if this also comes with being self-taught, because I'm also self-taught, and I've spoken to many artists who are self-taught, even painters, and musicians and so on. And, if you have somebody else to criticize your work, or to stand outside the work and give you feedback, it's easier, because it's somebody else's feedback. But if you look at your own work and you criticize yourself, or you give, or you realize something about yourself that you see, it's almost harder, and I think this is why if you're self-taught, you're almost harsh on yourself, because you want to improve, and you want to, where you're going.
Yes, that's very true. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at this, actually. It's
Now, I find this, I hear this, I realize this just from speaking to many artists who are self-taught. And I think you find that a lot. I think we think we don't realize how many and how much wonderful art comes from this process of self-teaching. So this is why I'm always intrigued when especially your work is so beautiful, really. And so. But tell me, Raphael, what is the dream? What are the wishes?
if you had asked me this like 5 years ago or so, I would probably have said like go to LA, Hollywood, and then try to like work on bigger budget films. And now I wouldn't necessarily say there is any specific wishes or dreams other than having a proper work-life balance, being happy in life, in the work that I'm doing in my private life, my family life. Family is very important for me, and it's something I feel like is also a foundation of my work life. If I'm happy in my private life, this helps my work life, and just finding a proper balance for myself in that sense, which I'm in the process of of doing. I'm not I'm not there, or I'm not where I would like to be, but I'm on the way, and that's something, yeah, just be happy with in life, essentially. Yeah.
I get you. I understand what you're saying, and it's wonderful because I've been saying also to other artists, it's the past months, or yeah, I would say almost past 8 or 9 months. This has been what people were saying. It's like they want to just be authentic. They want to be real. They just want to, live their lives and do their thing. And I think it's a good time to do that.
Yeah, that's wonderful that you have this experience in the past like couple of months.
Yeah.
Feel like it's maybe also representing the time that or the times that we're living in, with all that, or all of those bad things in the world happening, and you feel like, is it ever going to stop? Or like, because it's at least for me, it's quite easy to get lost in that, and so therefore I feel like it's a good thing to focus on the little things and on the most important things in your life, and because that's what you can like have influence on, and that's what matters at the end of the day, because
absolutely, yeah,
it's about ourselves, and if we have to be ideally healthy and as happy as we can be in our lives, and yeah.
And I think the best art comes from that place, because then it's from content, from feeling content, and art is such a powerful tool, and it's reaches people, and I think it has an energy as well. So that's so important when artists say that and speak that as well.
Yes, I agree. That's kind of probably the purest form of art, comes from that. Yeah.
But Raphael, thank you so much for your time and your beautiful music.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to speak with you.
No, the pleasure was all mine, and all the best, and may all the dreams and wishes that you have come true.
Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you.